Good morning. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to work on blushing this doll head. The doll will be attached to a doll body later on, and it has this rather strange apparatus on its head. These metal pieces here are designed to keep the wire that I use to hold the head on the body from cutting into the polymer clay over time from chafing as the head moves around. They're not very pretty. They're a little sci-fi, but they are what they are. They have to be there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to touch the face as little as possible through this program, and that's mostly to make sure that I don't get the face dirty as we go along. Okay, so what I'm going to use today, and I'm going to do a couple of additional videos of material to paint a face. These are pastel artist pigment chalks, and these are some of the assortment of tools and brushes that I use when I'm using this. I also use watercolor pencils, which I've recently discovered, and they're fantastic. For some things I'll use acrylic paint, like painting the eyes. Painting the eyes we did with acrylic paint in another video. This is, I'm going to try to make sure I stay in frame. So we're going to start off with the brush, and with the brushes, what you want is a brush that has a lot of soft bristles. You don't want them so soft that they're not able to rough up the surface of the chalk and pick up material. But you don't want them so coarse that they end up scratching your head. So we're going to start with an overall color, and I usually like to start with a pale rose color. I have several different pinks here. There's a really soft pink that also make sure that your brushes are clean, that you don't have a buildup of an older powder on them. Usually you can just flick them and that'll dispense anything that was in there. So you can take a stick like this one and scratch the surface to loosen up some of the powder, and then dip into it and just give a light coat of the softer color. And you decide if that's a warm enough color or not, just to give a general coloring. You can also take the chalk and rub it on a piece of paper, and that loosens up a lot of the powder and has it readily available for you to use for, I guess rouging is as good a description as any for what this process is. You can use a cotton swabs and pick up the pigment as well. I'm just trying to show different methods that can be used for applying an overall color to the face. If you don't want it to be super pale, I use Pro Sculpt Fairy Light, so it has a tendency to not have much color in it. And the advantage to applying color with this cotton is that you can take this and buff the surface, and what happens is you get a nice shine to the surface. You know how on your own face you have places where the skin has just got a little bit more glow than other places, like the forehead, the nose, the eyelids, sometimes the other parts of the face as well. But for those areas you can actually, let me go on the side of the head over here because I don't really want to do it yet, but you can actually rub and polish this, and you see that shine? There is the shine. With you didn't have to use a gloss or anything like that to achieve it. You just take your chalk and your powder and you literally just buff that color and that shine in. You're going to be able, once you get the color pretty much in all the places where you want it, lightly. If you have too much any place, just go back with the brush and it'll sweep right out. And just keep going back to pick up more color. If you run out, get your stick out again. It's like softening the blush, I guess. I don't like to use too much color on the dolls because I kind of have an affinity for that pale porcelain look. So that's just in general a little bit of color on the face. So I'm going to continue to add in a little more color till I get my base coat the way I want it. And then I'm going to pick up a little bit of color again on this warmer color here. And I'm going to use that to come and add more color to the cheeks. There's this one that I also use that has a brownish tone to it that I usually use mostly on male dolls. On a female doll, I find it tends to look a little brassy. It ends up looking like makeup, and that's not really the look that I'm going for. And you might think that this is